Hey man, and welcome to The Inside. Now first off, I want to congratulate you for taking the first step towards your success with beautiful women. Now, as promised, it's time for us to get into the deadliest pickup line of all time. Now first of all, what you need to understand is why don't most pickup lines actually work? Why are they usually so made fun of in television, culture, media, everything? Is there pickup lines that actually do work? Well, of course, there is. First of all, we need to talk about why most of them don't work. The three major reasons why most pickup lines don't work is number one, they can come off really cheesy to a girl. All right, the girls like cheese?
Not at all, not one bit.
Unless it's cheddar, right?
Exactly.
On top of that, most pickup lines also come off really inauthentic. When you step to a woman and you're talking to her in a bar, a club, a restaurant, the gym, wherever, if she can feel that inauthenticity coming through you, like you're in your head trying to think of what to say, it's an instant turnoff and she's not gonna be attracted to you. And then number three is that pickup lines are actually a low status behavior.
Ouch.
Okay? A high status male, which is what women are attracted to, in his mind, he's not worried about what she's gonna think of what he's saying, or he's not trying to come up with special things to say. He already knows he's a high status guy, he's got great things to say, he's got great stories to share. So of course he's just gonna share them, over and over, and he's not gonna have to think about it. If you're a guy who needs lines to talk to a girl, what does that say about you to her?
Not confident. We can smell that from a mile away.
Perfect. So don't do that. Instead, there are actually some lines that you can use, but they're not actual pickup lines that you're going to use. Instead, what you want to do are find certain kind of bait or hook or little lines that will kind of reel her in and make her kind of intrigued and make her say, who is this guy? This guy is different. He's interesting. I want to know more. And what I'm going to share with you today is the most potent, most powerful pickup line in that form. Without any further ado, let's get to this demonstration right now. So here I am with Ashley and we're at a bar, let's say. We've been talking for a couple minutes, basic conversation. I came over, I introduced myself. She gave me her name. I guessed where she was from. I was wrong. We laughed about it. And now we've been talking for a couple minutes. And here's where the line comes in. So I'm going to tell you what the line is right now and then you're going to watch me demonstrate it here. So the line is simply, you're going to look at her, okay? Now, what I want you to realize here before I actually say this line is that some of the behaviors I'm going to tell you to emanate or to portray or to act out are things that a high status male would do naturally, okay? These are just certain behaviors you just haven't learned yet, so for now, we'll just put some training wheels on there, tell you what to do. And then later on, you're going to be the kind of guy who just naturally does these things anyways. So I'm talking with her, and I'm going to say and look at her kind of like I just thought of something in my head, and I'm going to say, there's something really different about you. Then I'm just going to pause for a second, all right? Not forcing anything, just pausing. There's something really different about you. And then I'm gonna say, you know what? Hold that thought. I gotta go. I'll be back in 1 second, okay? And then you leave, okay? And when you leave, it says a lot of things about you. Okay, number one, saying something like, there's something really different about you. It's a really perceptive comment. It shows you're present to the moment. It shows you're in tune with this interaction, this energy, what's going on, okay? Good, those are attractive behaviors. Also, the idea that you're gonna kind of make her chase, make her wait. So you know what, hold that thought, I gotta go in 1 second. By you leaving first, you're actually kind of creating this vacuum where she's gonna kind of fall into it and she's gonna be like, kind of want that. Like, when someone leaves you or they take a step back, that which retreats we are attracted to. So that kind of creates attraction on its own right there. On top of that, it also shows a lot of abundance and non-neediness, that you're not desperate for sex, you're not desperate for her phone number, you're just a cool guy who's having a good time, who's having fun conversation, saying the things that he wants to say, and you're not, fully committed or attached to some girl you just met 2 minutes ago, because those aren't attractive behaviors. You're willing to walk away, okay? So it looks something like this. So how is your night going, Ashley?
Not too bad. I can't complain. Having a good time. How about you?
It's been good. I've met some really creepy girls tonight, but
You
I
have?
have. It's been very painful, yeah. But in general, definitely been a good night.
Well, good.
There's something really different about you. Actually, hold that thought. I will be back in 1 second, all right? Okay, so you saw we're having the conversation, we're being playful, we're laughing, it's just fun, and then you drop the line, right? The deadliest line. You say it, that's the first part of it, and you walk away as you saw me do. Now, when you come back, you're gonna come back first, or she's gonna come find you. Now, when you leave, you can go talk to your friends, go make a phone call, do whatever, do something else. Most likely what's gonna happen is she's actually gonna come find you because she's really intensely curious about what it was that you noticed about her. Most guys are coming onto her like, like hawks on like their prey, and it's really uncomfortable for her, and they're kind of overwhelming her with all that energy. But instead, when you're the guy who makes this perceptive comment and then he walks away, you're creating, you're doing something totally different that she's never actually experienced or felt before. Okay? So a lot of times she will come back to you. If she doesn't, don't worry, you can just come find her 5, 10, 15 minutes later and continue the conversation. Now, when you do find her again, most likely she's going to ask you, what was it that you noticed about her? What was it that was different about her? Again, if she doesn't, you can just bring it right back up and say, hey, you know what? I left you hanging there, my bad. And then you go right back into it, okay? So, big question, of course, is what do you say when she wants to know what was it that you noticed that was different about her, okay? Now here, we're gonna kind of create some intrigue, okay? A little bit of intrigue, a little bit of mystery, have a little fun with it. And the reason we do that is when we build that intrigue and mystery about ourselves and she wants to know more, what we're doing is we're creating kind of a scenario where you can build a connection with this girl now. So if you're at a bar, you're at a club or whatever, and you're talking to a girl, you can get really physical and flirtatious, and sometimes you can do, we talk about the famous like 10-minute bathroom pulls or whatever, and that can happen once in a while. But most likely, the best way for you to get closer with that girl or go on a date with her or to have a physical connection with her in any way is to build some type of emotional connection with her first, okay? And the way to do that, the way that you make her chase you and make her want to build that emotional connection with you is by creating that intrigue, that mystery, kind of that air about you that's gonna make her wanna know more. Because once she wants to know more, all of a sudden the gates are open to build that connection as freely as you want. There's actually a technique I use and I teach all my clients to do to really build that connection really easily the first time that you're talking to a girl or meeting a girl, which I'm gonna show you right now, okay? So we start talking again, right? And she wants to know what it was that I noticed about her. So what I'm going to say is something like this. So, I left you hanging back there. My bad about that. Yeah, there's something, I don't know, different about you. Like, I'm not sure what it is exactly, and I can't really tell if it's bad or good yet, but I don't know. It's different. Have you ever played the questions game before?
No.
You haven't?
I've never heard of it.
Questions game. Okay. Well, it's not a game for everybody. You have to be pretty honest, I guess, or vulnerable to be able to play. Do you think you can play that?
Okay, I think I can handle it.
Are you sure you can handle it?
I think I can handle it. I'm a big girl.
I'm just warning you. I just want to make sure. So the question game, here's how we play. We each ask each other one question, okay? Kind of alternating.
Okay.
Rules are you can't ask the same question as the other person, okay? No yes or no questions, and no skeletons left in the closet. So whatever question the other person asks, you have to answer. So I just, want to put it out there now that if you don't think you can handle it, we just want to play, okay?
Let's do it.
Okay. So at that moment, we would start playing the question game. And in that question game is when it's basically this perfect funnel for you guys to actually build a real connection. Not using scripted lines, routines, or weird shit like that, but just actually building an authentic connection with someone that you were interested in. Now, some great questions that you can ask. Some of my favorite ones are things like, what's the most important thing in the world to you? That's a really good question. What does your ideal relationship look like? And you kind of have her describe it and how it works and how it makes her feel, things like that. If you want to be a little cocky, you can use one of my favorite lines, which is, of course, how long have you been attracted to me for? That one works pretty well. And you can even use the question game after a couple questions to start talking about sex and things related to sexual things. Now, as I coach most of my clients, if you want to start talking about sex, that's fine. Just remember two things. Number one, you should be talking about sex like you would talk about the weather, all right? It's no big deal. It's a comfortable topic. Sex is a natural thing. Everyone does it. It's the only reason me or you or her are even here. And you're very comfortable with it. It's something that's abundant in your life, all right? And then number two, of course, is you want to be, you don't want to stay on that topic for too long. A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll be like, oh my God, I'm talking about sex with a girl. And they don't want to leave it, right? They want to stay on that subject. They don't want to talk about anything else. Be the guy who's bold enough and abundant enough to talk about sex for a couple minutes and then talk about something totally mundane or unrelated, right? And just be able to talk about all. Because if you're a confident, high status dude, you already know you can talk about sex and you can talk about other shit and then you can bring it back to sex should you want to, okay? So some questions you can use in the questions game to talk about sex. One of the great ways, if you're more of a shy guy and you don't want to just jump towards sex, ask a girl something like, what's your biggest turnoff? And she'll tell you. And that, of course, leads the way for you to ask the follow-up question, which is, of course, what's your biggest turn on? Okay, it's kind of an easy way to get in there. Also, things like, what do you enjoy most about sex? And kind of go deep into that. And as she describes the experience to you, you're gonna find she actually kind of gets turned on when she's doing it, all right? And then also you can ask things like, what's your hottest sexual experience, the craziest sexual experience you've ever had? What was your first time like? All those kinds of things. Okay, so now you know deadliest pickup line of all time. You know where to lead it, you know how to work it, you know how to make it attractive, and you even know about the questions game. That was a little bonus I wanted to throw in for you guys out there. But now, since we do have Ashley here, okay, who's been approached by thousands of guys in her life who, let's be honest, wanted to get with her, we can probably get a little information about her, a couple stories, or maybe some things that guys have done that really turned her off, and the opposite things that guys have done that really turned her on also. Okay, so Ashley, what are some of the worst things that have happened, I guess, with you when guys approach you in bars or clubs or daytime?
I have to say that one of the worst things that I have ever experienced, and this happens with a lot of guys, are awkward silences, where they come, we have a great maybe exchange of words, exchange names, obviously, and all of a sudden there's this awkward silence. And for me, that's kind of just a sign right off the bat that it's not going to work with this guy.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like there's a really good energy for like a couple minutes, and then it's like, a lot of times what we call it you need to be able to multi-thread. Okay, that means you need to be able to talk about a lot of things at the same time and have that freedom to do that. What happens is a lot of guys, they'll talk to you and they'll hit on one subject, right? Where you guys kind of like laugh about it. Maybe you both like the same movie and you joke about it, and then it's like you're done talking about that, and it just
it just kind of fizzles out. And
what do you think to yourself when that happens?
Well, I want someone who's going to make me laugh, keep my attention, kind of stimulate me mentally. And with that, it's just kind of like, either this guy's a dud or he has no confidence. So. Okay.
So what other things, I guess, kind of turn you off, or do you notice when guys come talk to you?
I can sometimes see a really good-looking guy. I'll be out or just kind of out and about, and I'll see this guy is really good-looking, and hoping he, might come and talk to me, and he'll come approach me, and I can barely hear what the guy is saying. And I have to strain to literally hear what he's saying, and he's just talking so quietly. And this has happened before with a lot more than you'd think. I mean, the guy is basically whispering, and for me, it's a turnoff because he doesn't seem confident in himself, doesn't seem sure of himself, and more than anything, it's annoying because I can't hear what the guy's saying, and it's just kind of a sign to me that, I don't know, maybe this guy just isn't that confident.
And on top of that, the voice is that's the first thing that you hear, right? Once, besides just looking at him, first thing.
I need a guy with a good, strong voice. That's one of my things. Some men have their certain, physical attributes that they like. Me, I need to have a man with a good, strong voice, or at least speak up so I can hear what the hell you're saying.
We actually talk about that in Make Women Want You, which is my book, where there's a whole section on tonality, right? And there's 3 different types of tonality that guys can have. We call it, one is kind of seeking rapport, where it's more of like a quieter, a higher voice, where it's like he's almost talking to you and he wants your approval, right? And that's not attractive. Then the second one is there's something called neutral rapport tonality, where it's more, we're just kind of talking neutrally, right? And the last one is called breaking rapport, which is the more masculine, more dominant kind of tonality, where it's kind of like the voice goes down when he's talking to you, and he's just like, hey, who are you? And it's kind of like it goes down, and it's firm, and it's strong, and it's masculine.
And that is what we like, and that is exactly why I always, always, always recommend to all my guy friends, who are single especially, recommend your book to them, because that is so helpful and so important. I don't think guys realize how important voice actually is.
And what's great about it is you don't have to, it's not about having great stories or always knowing the right thing to say. If you're just having boring, bland conversation, but the tonality is there in the voice.
It makes a difference. It's not what you say, it's how you say it, definitely. Yeah,
very true. Okay, so those are 2. I like to do things in sets of 3. Is there anything else maybe when guys talk to you that's kind of a turnoff?
Sometimes if I meet a guy and he comes up and introduces himself to me, there's a good conversation going. The whole touchy-feely octopus thing, or the timid, it's all in the way a guy touches me as well, especially if we're first meeting. I would rather a guy come pick me up, own it if he's going to go that far as to touch me when he first meets me, as opposed to the weird kind of clammy hands on my waist sneaking a feel or something like that. That's just disqualification, automatic. That's just gross.
Well, what does that tell you? If he's going to touch you really awkwardly and kind of try and sneak things in, excuse me, what does that tell you about what the sex is going to be like?
I don't want to be anywhere near him, and I wouldn't touch him with a 10-foot pole. If he can't get it right, just casually in public, I'm not interested at all.
And a lot of times girls will feel that, right? If a guy actually touches them in a kind of powerful, dominant way, and like she said, and he really like owns it, right? And it's not any of this like weird kind of halfway touching. You either do it all the way, or you kind of hold it back and you make her want it more, and you don't do it at all. All right, it's one or the other. But on top of that, subconsciously, when you do touch her in an awkward way, and here's the thing, dude, every guy at some point has touched a girl in an awkward way, whether it was when we were in high school or college. Like, it's a learning process. We all learn it. But when you do that, she actually subconsciously thinks to herself, she realizes that if she were to have sex with you, the sex would be shitty. You don't even know how to touch her in a bar. How do you know how to touch her in a bedroom? Okay? So I guess those would be the three main things. Are there any really, creepy stories or anything that you want to share with the guys just in case something like that they've ever done it, or they're thinking about trying something like that?
I was at a networking event for work, and I came across this guy, and at networking events, that's what you do. You kind of meet people. And this guy approached me, and then he approached me again later on in the evening, and he was sweating profusely and noticeably. He was just really sweaty. And he asked me for my number in more than like a business card way. And I had to shut the guy down just because he just looked so nervous. Like, I didn't know whether to give him my phone number or get him a towel. It was just bad, really bad.
You should have gotten him a towel. I think that would have been really fun.
I think I got him a napkin.
I
think I seriously got him a napkin. So happy medium.
So if you're going to be nervous and sweaty, the most you're going to get from a girl is a napkin, okay?
If you're lucky.
If you're lucky, you get a napkin for wiping sweat off, and I don't know, whatever else you might be doing on a Saturday night with a napkin, okay? All right. Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you sharing that stuff with us.
You are so welcome.
Guys, listen. I understand right now that you probably hate the idea of rejection and approaching and having those awkward pauses where you don't know what to say or what to do, okay? But from today on, you're never going to experience that again, okay? From today on, you're going to be confident with women. You're going to be secure in yourself. You're going to know what to say to her, what to do next, how to go for the kiss, when to go for the kiss. And in each of those phases, you're even going to know how she's going to respond, okay? Now, I used to think that success with women was something that some guys were born with and some guys weren't. There was nothing you could actually do about it. But that was until I dove really deep into the subject for years. And I realized success with women is just a skill. It's like riding a bike or learning how to drive. And you know how to do that, don't you? So let's get you this skill right now, okay? When you click the link below this video, you're gonna be taken to a secure private order form page where you're gonna get the chance to try my book today for a one-time 76% off discount. Now, even with your 76% off discount, you're still gonna be backed by my rock-solid 60-day money-back guarantee. Try the book, check it out, try my techniques, and watch how you begin to experience success with women that you never dreamed possible. Ashley, is there anything else that you want to add?
Pretty much, guys. Just do yourself a favor. Stop being home alone on a Saturday night. Stop going to family parties without a date. This really, really works.
Well, you heard her. So click the link below and let's get you started right now.